Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Listen Up as I join you for the second game recap of the season and another UConn Huskies win. It was another blowout win, 86 to 49, the final score. But before I get into the game recap, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. And Phil will be back with me probably for the next episode, which will be on Tuesday. But without further ado, let's get into this game recap. It was the same starters for UConn: Bueckers, Shade, Chen, Strong, and Ice Brady. AZ Fudd participated in pregame warmups once again, but did not play. Aubrey Griffin, Caroline Ducharme, and Ayanna Patterson did not participate in warmups and were also out for this game. It was a sold out crowd today in Gamble Pavilion, and they were going pretty crazy before the game. Ice Brady started us off with two straight baskets underneath, and then it was a quick three by Paige Bueckers and a quick timeout by South Florida as UConn was off to a 7-0 lead to start the game. I really like the rebounding effort from UConn, especially throughout the first quarter. They're boxing out everybody really well underneath, and the defense didn't allow USF to get any good looks, and they look startled out of the gates. UCF did, or USF did. Ice Brady and Paige Bueckers are both 3 of 3 from the field. USF, they did hit a couple threes towards the end of the quarter. UConn with a 19-13 lead at the end of one. The Bulls were keeping it kind of close in the second quarter. It seemed like UConn pushed off the gas pedal a little bit, had a couple sloppy plays, couple turnovers. Meanwhile, USF set screens on offense, allowing a couple players to get open, couple good drives to the basket for them, and the Bulls got to within 6 points. But when then UConn's offense started to get back on track a little bit, thanks to Caitlin Chen and Paige Bueckers. Bueckers was 8 of 9 from the field and had 19 points at the half. Ashlynn Shade nailed a buzzer beater three-pointer to get her first points of the game and put UConn up 43 to 25 at halftime. The Huskies definitely had all the momentum going into the third quarter, and they really started off where they left off from in that second quarter. Caitlin Chen picked up her third foul in the first minute of the third, and KK Arnold subbed in for her pretty quickly. Paige continued her hot hand and made another three to push her over 20 points for the game. And UConn continued to get the ball inside, which resulted in an 11-3 run. They would finish the quarter as well, I believe, on a 15-2 run. But Sarah Strong started to get going inside a little bit for UConn. I really like the ball movement for the Huskies. It was just too much for South Florida to handle overall. They just got overwhelmed throughout the quarter. KK and Ashlynn had scoop and scores as the Huskies were also dominant on defense, and the Huskies kept the momentum the whole entire quarter. Seemed like no matter what USF tried to do, UConn just shut everything down. And it was pretty bad for USF after that. Pretty much UConn had everything under control. And how about Ashlyn Shade continuing to put in work in the fourth quarter? She looked really good in the first two games so far for UConn. Morgan Shelley hit two three-pointers in the fourth quarter. And like we saw in the first game for UConn, most of the starters were off to the side on the bench for pretty much the whole entire fourth quarter. And it was most of the younger players for UConn getting the opportunities since it was another blowout victory for UConn. So it's nice to see again every player contributing for UConn in this game, or at least everybody getting in the game again for the Huskies. But UConn very efficient on offense tonight, shooting a combined 66% from the field, Paige did lead the team with 22 points and only scored that one basket in the second half, that three-pointer. She didn't play in the fourth quarter, however, but still led the team with 22 points. Ashlynn Shea, like I said, another very strong performance, scored 15. Sarah Strong joined her in double digits with 13. Jana and Morgan Shelley, Ali Zabel, I think they had pretty good games off the bench for us. Ice Brady, Caitlin Chen, also very solid games as they started for UConn again. And just kind of another all-around team effort for UConn. Like I said, his final score 86-49 tonight. And I think everybody played well again. Not really too many concerns, I don't think, for UConn. It's definitely, only the first two games of the season. So, we're always going to have these kind of sloppy plays, couple turnovers here and there, but I think UConn will continue to obviously work on that and learn from these first two games and, just get better as the season goes along and kind of clean those little mistakes up every now and then that they do have. But that's it for the game recap. I guess we'll get into a couple comments and I will sign off for tonight. The first comment we'll go over here is from Just Me. They said UConn should beat South Florida easily, but this is a good test for UConn's confidence level. Our confidence can be a bad thing. Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. The confidence level is definitely an important part of the game. And I think UConn's confidence level has been pretty high throughout. There's not many moments where I don't think they've had a lot of confidence. Not too many of those moments. I think they have had a lot of confidence throughout these first two games. But the opponents, of course, not top tier opponents yet. But it is nice to see UConn playing pretty well together. And like we keep saying, for the team to play all together, get these team wins, it's really nice to see. And keeping that confidence level is definitely key for the whole entire season. Next comment we'll go over is from BRN Soldier. They said, I hope Gino is working on what the lineup looks like without Paige. We can't be one-dimensional. Every time he talks, it's questionable without Paige on the floor. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. I will say, I think without Paige on the floor for that fourth quarter tonight, I'd say UConn did do a better job in this game, rather than what they did against Boston University in that first game. I think they did look a little better tonight without Paige on the floor. So I think that was a little bit an improvement. I'm sure Gino is very pleased with that. I'm sure without Paige on the floor, the team continued to kind of step up. Even though the lead was about 30 points, I think 30 or 40 points by the fourth quarter there. The team definitely did continue to step up when Paige was on the bench for that whole entire fourth quarter. I think UConn did continue to play pretty good there. Last comment we'll go over for tonight is from Jason D'Amico. He said, I agree with my fellow subs. This will be a good test to see how our defense really plays against a good opponent. I still do not expect AZ to play in this one, but if she does, I have to admit I'm going to be smiling from ear to ear. Peace. Yeah, AZ unfortunately didn't play, but like I said, participated in pregame warmup. So I think she may, we may have a return out of her possibly before we were expecting for her to return in December. So maybe we see her at the end of November here, or maybe even in the next week. But I do think if AZ does come back, I'd probably expect to see UConn kind of ease her into the lineup. I don't really expect them to just, kind of shove her into the starting lineup right away and for her to play 25 or 30 minutes every single game. But it definitely will be nice to have AZ back on the floor, and it's a good sign that she is, participating in pregame warmups. But yeah, I don't really think it was the kind of test we were expecting. Obviously, a little tougher than Boston University was, but I mean, I guess South Florida, they did keep it kind of competitive there in the first half. Like I said, they got to within 6 points at one time in that second quarter, and then UConn kind of, pushed their pushed their foot back on the gas pedal and kind of maneuvered their way throughout the rest of the game and pulled really far ahead after that. After the media timeout, I think Gino must have drew a couple things up like he normally does, and got on him a little bit, and the team really soared to the win after that. But yeah, I think overall another really solid game. South Florida obviously a little tougher of a test, but UConn handled them very nicely tonight. But I think that's going to do it for me here tonight for the game recap. Again, final score 86 to 49 in favor of UConn. The next game, it's a pretty big one. UConn visits North Carolina in a top 15 showdown. So definitely excited for that one on ESPN2 Friday night. So we'll definitely have that one out right after the game. But we should have two or three videos before that for this week coming up for you guys. So, with that, I think that's going to do it for me for the game recap. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys, as always, for all the support, and I will see you guys later this week. Peace out.